They told you to dream big. They told you to work hard. But no one told you the truth about what it really takes to rise the price success quietly demands from every soul who dares to chase it. Because success doesn't come wrapped in inspiration or motivation. It doesn't come from luck, talent, or timing. It comes from truth, the kind that most people are too afraid to face. The truth that no one is coming to save you. The truth that your excuses are your enemies. The truth that success will test every inch of your faith before it ever rewards your effort. This world does not hand greatness to the comfortable. It rewards those who refuse to surrender. The men who changed history, Edison, Carnegie, Ford, Lincoln, Disney, they didn't wait for perfect conditions. They created them. They turned failure into foundation, pain into power, doubt into drive. Edison burned through 10,000 failed experiments before a single light bulb flickered to life. 10,000 defeats, 10,000 reasons to quit. But he didn't, because he understood something most people never learn. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the workshop in which success is built. Most people want results without resistance. They want the glory without the grind, the applause without the agony. But the truth about success is this. It demands your whole being, your discipline, your patience, your vision. You don't stumble into greatness. You earn it, inch by inch, moment by moment, while everyone else is sleeping, doubting, or quitting. Success is not found in comfort. It's forged in discomfort, in the long, lonely hours when your dream feels impossible and your strength feels spent. That's where the universe is watching you, testing you, asking you one silent question. Do you still want it? Because everyone says they want success until they see what it costs. It costs your weekends, your pride, your certainty, sometimes even your peace. But in return, it gives you becoming. Becoming the kind of person who cannot be broken. Becoming someone who knows that failure is a mirror, and those who dare to face it grow. You see, success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. And that becoming starts the moment you stop blaming, stop complaining, and take full responsibility for your life. No excuses, no waiting for opportunity. You create opportunity by refusing to accept mediocrity. Think of the men Napoleon Hill wrote about, those who turned thought into power, faith into fortune. Their secret wasn't magic, it was mindset, a relentless belief that what they imagined could be made real. Hill once said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But he didn't mean wishful thinking. He meant clarity, the power of definite purpose. You can't build a skyscraper on shifting ground. You can't live a life of greatness while thinking like the average. The world doesn't bend to indecision. It bends to the will of those who decide. Decide who you are. Decide what you stand for. Decide that you will not live another day being less than what you know you can be. Because success begins the moment you draw that invisible line between who you were and who you're becoming. When Carnegie was a poor immigrant boy polishing shoes, he already saw the empire he would build. When Ford was working as a mechanic, he saw the assembly lines before they existed. When Disney was broke and sleeping in a studio, he saw a castle that would one day stand for imagination itself. That's the unseen truth. Every dream that became real started in the mind of someone who refused to accept the visible world as final. The greatest power you possess is not your hands, your talent, or your connections. It's your ability to see what isn't yet visible, and to hold that vision when everything around you tells you it's impossible. But holding a vision takes more than hope. It takes faith, not religious faith, but faith in cause and effect. Faith in yourself. Faith in the law that says, as you think, so shall you become. The weak see obstacles. The strong see instruction. The weak see rejection. The strong see redirection. Every setback is a teacher, and the lesson is always this. You are not done yet. You will lose. You will be misunderstood. You will be laughed at, but you will also rise, because the ones who persist long enough to master themselves always master life. Success begins in the mind, not in the bank, not in the boardroom, not in the applause of others. It begins in silence, in the quiet moments when you're alone with your thoughts, and you finally confront the voice inside that whispers, I can't. That voice is your first battlefield, and if you can conquer it, no competition outside of you can touch you, because most people lose before they even start, not from lack of opportunity, but from lack of belief. They've trained their minds to see limitation instead of potential, to magnify fear instead of possibility. Understand this. Your mind is the seedbed of every result you'll ever produce. Feed it with doubt, and you'll harvest defeat. Feed it with faith, and you'll grow empires. That's why Napoleon Hill didn't just write about riches, he wrote about thought. Because thought is the beginning of every empire, every invention, every revolution. Before the first car, Ford had an idea. Before the first light bulb, Edison had a thought. thought. Before any of it existed, it lived in the imagination of one person who believed. But belief isn't passive. It's not wishing. It's the decision to act as though what you see in your mind is already real, and then doing the work to make it visible. That's where discipline comes in, the silent force that separates dreamers from doers. Discipline is not punishment. It's power. It's the act of aligning your actions with your vision, day after day, whether you feel like it or not, because success doesn't care about your mood. It answers only to your consistency. Every successful person you admire, the athletes, the inventors, the entrepreneurs, they all share one thing in common. They mastered the ordinary. They repeated the small, simple actions that most people overlook until those actions turned into unstoppable habits. You see, success is not built in grand moments. It's built in repetition. In the early mornings when no one is watching. In the late nights when the world is sleeping. In the countless invisible hours that no one claps for. And the truth is, most people will never see those moments. They'll see the result and the cars, the fame, the titles, but not the lonely battles that created them. So if you want to win, you must learn to love the process more than the prize. You must fall in love with the climb, not the summit, because the summit is temporary, but the person you become while climbing, that is forever. When you build discipline, you are literally sculpting your future self. You are telling the universe, I am ready to handle the weight of success. And the universe will test you, not to break you, but to see if you mean it. Because success is not given. It is earned through alignment. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you grow stronger. Every time you choose action over excuses, you rise higher. Every time you silence the voice of doubt, you prove to life that you are worthy of more. But don't mistake discipline for suffering. It is not deprivation. It is design. It's how you build a life of intention instead of accident. Every decision is a vote for the person you want to become, or the person you're willing to remain. When you choose growth, you cast your vote for greatness. And yet the journey will not always be fair. There will be days when your effort feels invisible, when your dreams seem distant, when you question whether it's even worth it. That's where faith and resilience step forward. Because the truth about success no one tells you is that it's not about talent or timing. It's about staying power. It's about the strength to keep going when logic says stop. The world remembers people not for how easy their path was, but for how unbreakable their spirit became. Lincoln failed in business, lost elections, faced public humiliation, but his vision outlasted every defeat. Disney went bankrupt multiple times before the world ever smiled at a mouse. Henry Ford's first company collapsed. Edison was called a fool. But they all shared a rare resilience and understanding that failure doesn't define you, it refines you. Resilience is built in adversity, not in applause. It's the muscle you strengthen when life hits harder than expected. It's the voice that says, I will rise anyway. Because in the game of success, the greatest victory is not over others. It's over yourself, over your doubts, over your distractions, over your desire to quit when it gets hard. That's what separates the average from the exceptional. The average seek comfort. The exceptional seek growth. And the truth? Growth is uncomfortable by nature. It demands sacrifice, the kind most people aren't willing to make. It means saying no to distractions, no to instant gratification, no to the small habits that keep you small. But every no you say to weakness is a yes to your power. Every time you resist temptation, you earn back control. Every time you push through discomfort, you step closer to mastery. Because the end goal isn't success, it's transformation. True success is when your character becomes stronger than your circumstances. When you no longer need the world to believe in you because you already do. And that, my friend, is the shift, the moment the dreamer becomes the creator. The moment faith turns into fire. The moment you stop chasing success and start embodying. There comes a moment on every journey when you must ask yourself, why am I doing this? Because without purpose, discipline becomes mechanical. Without vision, effort becomes aimless. And without meaning, even victory feels hollow. The truth is success that lacks purpose is just noise. You can stack money, build fame, command followers, but if you forget why you started, you'll end up rich in possessions, but poor in peace. Purpose gives direction to power. It's the invisible current that carries you through storms, that keeps you anchored when everything else feels uncertain. Look at every great achiever, from Andrew Carnegie to Steve Jobs, from Lincoln to Oprah. They all built from a place of vision. They saw something beyond themselves, something that mattered, something that could outlive them. Carnegie didn't just build steel. He built a foundation for human progress. Jobs didn't just build devices. He built a culture of creativity. Lincoln didn't just lead a nation. He restored its soul. That's what purpose does. It transforms ambition into contribution. And contribution, that's where true success lives. Because wealth without purpose is emptiness, dressed in gold. But when your vision serves others, others, when your dream uplifts lives, that's when abundance flows back to you in ways you can't measure. You become magnetic. You stop chasing success, and success starts following you. But to walk that path, you must dare to define your own meaning. The world will try to define success for you: money, status, luxury, attention. Ignore it. Because the world's definition of success is built to keep you distracted. The truth is, real success feels quiet. It feels like peace of mind. It feels like purpose fulfilled. It feels like waking up knowing your life means something. And once you find that, no setback can take it away. But finding your purpose isn't a single revelation. It's a process. It starts by asking the right questions. What sets my soul on fire? What am I willing to suffer for? What would I keep doing even if no one ever clapped for me? That's where your calling hides, not in what's easy, but in what feels essential. And when you align your purpose with your daily actions, something powerful happens. Life starts to cooperate. Doors begin to open. Coincidences turn into confirmations. This is not magic, it's alignment. The moment your thoughts, beliefs, and actions move in the same direction, the world cannot stop you, because success, at its core, is harmony between inner truth and outer action. When those two match, you move with power. You speak with clarity. You create with conviction. But purpose is not static. It evolves as you do. That's why adaptability is the quiet superpower of every great achiever. Look at history. Every empire that failed, every business that collapsed, every leader that faded had one thing in common: they refused to adapt. Edison reinvented himself after every failure. Ford rebuilt when others declared him finished. Disney dreamed again after bankruptcy. They understood that the world is always changing, and if you cling too tightly to how things were, you'll miss the opportunity to shape how things can be. Adaptability is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the strength to bend without breaking, to evolve without losing your essence. Because success is not about stubbornness, it's about staying true to your purpose while shifting your path. The ones who last are not the ones who fight change, but the ones who flow with it. They pivot when needed, but they never compromise their principles. They learn faster, move smarter, and stay open to becoming more. And in that flexibility lies resilience, the quiet endurance that outlives talent, luck, and timing. Resilience is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's what allows you to keep walking when the path disappears beneath your feet. It's what whispers, "Try again," when failure shouts, "You're done." Every great story, every legend you admire is a tale of resilience disguised as destiny. Because destiny isn't written in stars, it's written in scars. The marks of every fall you got back up from. The proof that your purpose was stronger than your pain. So don't fear the storms, welcome them. They are not punishments, they are preparation. Every challenge is life asking, are you ready to handle what you prayed for? And when you say yes, not with your words, but with your persistence, you pass the test that most people ever take. The test of character, the test of patience, the test of unwavering faith in your vision, even when no one else can see it. Because this is the truth about success. It's not about being the fastest and the smartest or the most talented. It's about being the most faithful. Faithful to your purpose, faithful to your growth, faithful to the process, even when progress feels invisible. That's when success begins to reveal itself, not as a single achievement, but as a transformation. You realize that the goal was never just to win, it was to become. When you begin to become, something shifts inside you. The noise of comparison grows silent. The hunger for validation fades, and what rises in its place is gratitude. Not the kind of gratitude that's spoken, but the kind that's felt deep in your bones, in the stillness between heartbeats. Because when you finally start seeing how far you've come, how much you've learned, how many storms you survived, you begin to realize you were never unlucky. You were being prepared. Gratitude is the final stage of awakening. It transforms struggle into strength, confusion into clarity, pain into perspective. And that shift, that quiet acknowledgement that even your worst days were working for you, is what turns ordinary living into extraordinary purpose. You start to understand that every delay was divine timing. Every rejection was redirection. Every failure was a sculptor, carving away what you didn't need, shaping you into who you were meant to be. That's why the successful never complain about the path, they honor it. Because they see what most people miss. Every obstacle that once broke them, built them. You see, gratitude isn't weakness. It's the highest form of strength. Because when you can look at chaos and still say, thank you, you've mastered yourself. You've risen above the illusion that life owes you anything. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's possible. And what you focus on expands. When you begin each day seeing opportunity instead of scarcity, life begins to unfold differently. You stop fighting reality and start shaping it. That's the hidden power of masters. They don't waste energy resisting. They redirect it. And that leads us to the ultimate truth about success. Mastery isn't about controlling the world. It's about commanding yourself. The greatest leaders, creators, and visionaries were not masters of others. They were masters of themselves, their thoughts, their emotions, their reactions, their focus. When you learn to master the inner world, the outer world begins to respond in harmony. Because success is a mirror. It reflects who you are, not what you want. That's why Napoleon Hill called it the law of attraction before the world gave it a name. He knew that your dominant thoughts become your dominant reality. If you think in fear, you attract more fear. If you think in faith, you attract possibility. If you think in purpose, you attract opportunity. You cannot rise while thinking small. You cannot receive abundance while operating from lack. You cannot lead while being enslaved by emotion. Mastery means discipline, not in action alone, but in thought. It's the ability to pause before reacting, to respond from wisdom, not impulse, to remain calm in chaos, clear in confusion, and centered in crisis. Because success doesn't belong to the loudest, it belongs to the calmest, the ones who can keep their mind steady when the world shakes. Lincoln mastered patience. Edison mastered persistence. Carnegie mastered people. Disney mastered imagination. And every one of them, before mastering the world, first mastered themselves. That's the truth few understand. Success is not something you chase, it's something you become aligned with. When your habits, your thoughts, and your purpose move as one, the world bends to your will. You become a living magnet for progress. Doors open, not because of chance, but because your energy commands respect. That's when vision turns into vibration, and vibration turns into manifestation. But you must protect that energy because everything in this world is trying to distract. The opinions of others, the noise of social validation, the temptation of shortcuts, all of them exist to pull you off your path. Never forget, mediocrity is crowded. Mastery is lonely. You will walk alone before you walk admired. You will be misunderstood before you are remembered. But keep walking, because every step you take in integrity moves you closer to destiny. Your life is the result of the standards you accept. Raise them. Stop asking for an easier path. Ask for a stronger mindset. Stop praying for comfort. Pray for courage. Because success doesn't meet you where you are. It meets you where you decide to rise. Every sunrise is a silent invitation to begin again. And every night is a reminder that you're still in the process of becoming. So wake up with vision, move with discipline, speak with purpose, act with faith, and live with gratitude. Because one day, when the noise fades and the world grows still, you'll look back and realize something profound. You were never chasing success. You were becoming it. Success was never outside of you. It was always waiting to be awakened within you. And that awakening, that realization that you hold the power to design, direct, and define your destiny, that's the truth. No one tells you. You are not here to merely exist. You are here to create, to build, to transform, to expand, to leave this world better than you found it. That is the highest form of wealth, not what you accumulate, but what you awaken, to transform, to expand, to leave this world better than you found it. That is the highest form of wealth, not what you accumulate, but what you awaken.